Okay, so now we know Schiff's origin story, and we know that his name was originally Frederick Schiff. Now, I hate it when they make the bad guys sympathetic, because let's face it, all the guy wanted to do was get out of East Germany, which, fair. But when the wall comes down, that's when they go after him. I mean, did St. George not just leave and abandon him, but also sick the dogs on him? Because that's what it seems like. Being from Wisconsin, I am very amused, and so is my mom, when he was learning to pronounce Wisconsin, which I found amusing. And done very well. It would have been more impressive if he had to pronounce one of the cities in said Wisconsin, but still was enjoyable. So his whole MO. Now we don't know still why he chose Alexander, because Cobb was right there. Maybe because he knew that it's, death within a few months, and he didn't actually want to kill his nephew. But then again, he just tried to kill his nephew. So, not sure which way to go with that one. But he never actually responded why he picked Alexander. He kind of pivoted. So we still don't know why he picked Alexander. He claims it's because, he basically admitted that's because Alexander's Chinese. So he's going to pick the one guy that people are going to question his loyalty because he's Chinese. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's bug the guy who people are already going to suspect. Whether it's through racism or some other... Because Cobb, he didn't go about it through racism. He went about it logically. I mean, he now knows about the program. And... for some reason, he decided to, instead of returning the hard drive to orphanage, he decided to have it decrypted himself. Which is probably why Marlowe was like, yeah, bye-bye, you can go away now. And Cobb was like, wait, you're not going to kill me? He almost sounded upset that he wasn't worthy of being killed, which, okay. I mean, I kind of get it, because that kind of tells you that you're important. But at the same time, what? So, Cobb is now officially out of the picture. It seems like the head of the CIA and Moira seem to understand each other very well. Why would we let a leak go, without stopping it? And so I guess they kind of get each other. Not sure. Because they gave knowing glances to each other. I do not believe for 1 minute that Alexander turned. Alexander's just trying to protect his parents. Now, I'm very, very disappointed in Parker. Extremely disappointed. Because, I mean, I would think that someone as smart as her, or possibly even Ellie, would catch the Morse code that Michelle gave to Alexander saying that the apartment was bugged. So, obviously, when he said, okay, I'm going to give you what you want if Victor comes through. So, and then they give Michelle the kill order. And since Michelle's the one who told him about the bug, I get the feeling she's not going to kill him, that they're just going to make a good show of it and then, end up someplace where there isn't a bug, or they're going to accidentally kill the bugs while fighting. And but unless St. George gave a different name when she went to speak to Alexander, Alexander damn well has met St. George. So this having to get to Victor to find out how to find St. George because she's a ghost, blah, 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 blah. Unless she gave him a different name and so he's not aware he met St. George, he's met St. George. And I'm going to, until I see evidence to the contrary, he knows he met St. George. So he's basically trying to protect his parents and St. George. Now, it's just too bad that Moira wasn't there, because maybe Moira knows Morse code? Shouldn't that be, the minimum if you're going to work intelligence, is to know Morse code? So, what the heck? But, so yeah, I don't think Michelle, she's going to make it look good, but she's not going to actually kill Alexander. Let's see. I do feel bad for Henry. I mean, does that condone all the shit he's doing now? Absolutely not. But I still feel bad for him. I mean, I can understand his motivation for coming after St. George. Again, don't agree with it. There are far better ways to deal with shit than, wanting to kill someone. But I get the motivation. Let's see if there's what else I wanted to mention of this episode. Now, Shiv said that he has someone close to his parents. So the only person we've seen close to his parents is Victor. But we've seen nothing to suggest that they've ever, well, they have come into contact previously, actually a couple times, in the restaurant and at this ballet, I guess it was. So we know they know each other, but Victor didn't come across as having any knowledge of what's happening with Shiv and Alexander, because he actually asked Shiv, could you have your nephew keep an eye on Alexander? So, except for him, we haven't seen anyone else near them. Unless they're going to introduce someone later on in the last couple of episodes. There is absolutely nobody who we would be aware of. Let's see here. So Moira asked, why did you break up with Michelle? I'm sorry. He could have just said, he just said, oh, well, people fight. Which, true. But at the same time, you know that this was a fake relationship. So why are you. But it was a relationship. Even though it was a fake one, they still, made people think they were together. They even slept together. So, why are you shocked that. I mean, did you want him to say, oh, yeah, well, I know she was lying to me? Or, I'm trying to keep my distance from orphanage. I mean, he's not going to say he's going to try to keep his distance from orphanage while talking to the director of director of this particular program, and he's within the belly of the beast. He's not a moron. So yeah, he's totally stringing Henry along. He's totally stringing Ship along. The question is, what's going to happen first? Is this going to turn into some sort of Greek tragedy where Alexander dies either at the hands of orphanage or at the hands of the hack? Or is he going to, screw Henry over? Which, again, I kind of don't want him to get apprehended by orphanage because I understand his vitriol. But at the same time, dude, okay, yes, that totally sucked. And I get that you are really super mad at St. George, but it's been how many years? And I mean, I think they said 40 years ago. So we're dealing with a little bit further along than, I think it was 40 years ago that he was supposed to be evacuated. I'm not sure. Maybe the beginnings of everything was 40 years ago. But anyway, so yeah, what she did was crappy. That she just saw him as an asset and instead of someone who's desperately trying to get out of the country. I mean, he put his life on the line, so of course she's going to want to get out. Because, he wants to he knows that eventually they're going to find out that he basically is spying on them, that he's a double agent, which they do, which was very strange. So the way they suddenly came in after he found out that St. George ditched him. So I question whether St. George wasn't the one who sicked the Nazis on him. Well, secret police, they're communists. Gotta remember, 89, communists. So, I mean, I get the vitriol, but how is holding a grudge for 40 years and basically screwing with everyone and literally causing death and destruction and being a chaos agent, how is this helpful to anyone? I mean, by all means, try to kill St. George, but why all the collateral damage? That is just, all of this is bizarre. This is not a well man. And I'm not just talking about the fact he walks with a limp. No, he is not a well man because he's mentally not well. I mean, what happened to him broke him. Again, understandable, but, not helpful to anybody. So yeah, don't think that he's gonna get to St. George. Alexander's gonna save his parents, and Michelle is probably going to help him. Simply because why else tell the man that the apartment was bugged? I mean, they probably told her why they bugged the apartment, or at least gave her some story. Like they're worried that he flipped or something. But so Parker seems upset that she has to give the order. But again, how is it that you're this brilliant intelligence agent and Ellie is also pretty good at what she does, and neither of you know Morse code? I mean, come on, guys. Maybe Moira will, watch the tape and see the Morse code, and it's like, oh, well, he knew that we bugged the apartment, so he, said this as a ruse. I don't know. But somehow they are going to find out. Or maybe Parker is going to realize at some point that it's like, oh, this is what's happening. But at some point, one of them is going to figure out what's going on. I mean, at this point, it could be Cobb. Cobb is a very good analyst. I mean, Marlowe even said, it's like, yeah, we probably should have brought you in a bit earlier. It's like, you think? One of their best analysts, and you're going to let him go across the street stay across the street because you can't handle that you made a mistake? I mean, he's coming to the conclusion that his uncle is probably not the good person he thought he was. So it's not like you have to worry about Cobb siding with Henry. But I don't know. I don't know. These people are weird. And who knows? Maybe when they realize that Alexander's just trying to protect his parents, that maybe they're going to prove Henry wrong. That they do care about people. I mean, granted, they only care about people as long as they find them useful. And I guess that's the one part of the puzzle that Henry does not have, is that they didn't find Henry useful anymore. Now, is that sad? Absolutely. That doesn't make his animus towards St. George any less. But at least he'll understand that there's, that people have a use by date. And once your use by date expires, yeah. But let's face it, Cobb even thought that they were going to kill him. And they didn't. I mean, granted, I was waiting at any moment for them to do so. But yeah, it seems like Cobb is scot-free. So I think that Cobb is going to turn out to help Alexander. That they start out as, I wouldn't even say, not even frenemies, but adversaries. Just work adversaries. They're both competitive. They both wanted to get upstairs. But I think that possibly Cobb might end up helping Alexander. Cobb will help Alexander. Michelle will help Alexander. I mean, she's already helping him. Because she read the note and it sounded like Alexander was trying to give her an out. So she'd be able to get out clean and not, I guess, have orphanage kill her, because unlike Parker, he knows what the spy game is like, and Moira actually called her Samantha. I mean, they had this father-daughter moment. It was so sweet. That's like, okay, yeah, you made the wrong call, but I'll yell at you later when this is all dealt with. Let's see. I think that is all I have for this video. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one.